Big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now these are the top 10 things that I wish I would have known before buying my Tesla Model 3. As you already know, if you've seen my videos, I love my Tesla Model 3. It's been probably the best purchase I've ever made. Going back, if I could go back in time, I wish I would have known these 10 things, and hopefully I can help you if you're deciding to buy a Tesla for yourself. So let's jump right into this list, starting with the car color. Okay, so I have always had red cars. I think I started off with a 1986 Pontiac Trans Am, and then I went to a 2007 Pontiac G6, and then of course I have my red Tesla Model 3. Now don't get me wrong, the multi-coat red on a Tesla is just absolutely beautiful. I love it, but I have gotten 2 speeding tickets, and you've heard the myth, if you drive a red car, it attracts cops. I won't say that it was the color that got me those speeding tickets, it was obviously me, but it made me wonder just a little bit if I was driving something other than red, would I have gotten both of those speeding tickets? But also, I think the main reason why I would choose a different color, when I got my Tesla Model 3, it was my dream car. I was like, this is the last car I'll ever buy. It was the most expensive car I ever thought I would buy, and I had no idea I would end up with a Tesla Roadster through the referral program. So obviously looking at the Tesla Roadster, there's only one color that you can get with the Roadster. The red Roadster is just, it's beautiful. It's crazy. And it's like, I had no idea that was going to happen. So had I known that, I would have probably gotten a different color, because I don't want like just all red cars for my entire life. I probably would have chosen silver, because silver doesn't exist. They took away that color with the Model 3. So I love seeing those silver Model 3s out in the wild, because they're limited. And that brings me into Tesla's frequent price changes. That's number 2 on this list. I had no idea that Tesla changed their pricing structure and their pricings and their offerings so much like they do. For example, just this past week, the Model Y, after being out just a few short months, got a $3,000 price cut. I knew that would come, I just didn't know it would come so soon. So Tesla, as a business, they have every right to change their pricing up at any time they want. But I wish I would have known how frequent they do that. I bought a rear-wheel drive single motor Tesla Model 3 in 2018, and I could have waited just a little bit longer and gotten an all-wheel drive dual motor Model 3 for basically the same price in 2019, because once the tax credit went away completely for Tesla, they lowered their prices to kind of compensate for that. So I was accounting for the $7,500 tax credit, which I did receive, but I didn't know that Tesla was accounting for that, and I didn't know that they were going to lower their prices as much as they did. Also, I bought Enhanced Autopilot for $5,000, and now they don't even offer Enhanced Autopilot anymore. They took that completely away. Now it's just, Basic Autopilot is now included on all Teslas for free. And then also, of course, the free paint color changed from black to white. So, if white was the free option back then, I probably would have just saved $1,000 and gotten the white. And that brings me into early adopter cons. Now, this is true with pretty much all technology. If you're buying the first generation of a product, which I did with the Model 3 sort of, you're going to be an early adopter, and you're going to kind of be a beta tester. And if you choose to wait a little bit, you can possibly get things that are better and improved on the product. So for example, the biggest thing for my Model 3, I wish I had the more comfortable version 2 back seat. So my Model 3 has the version 1 back seat, which is very firm, stiff. Now it doesn't bother me as a driver because I never get in the back, but for my passengers, I would love to have the version 2 back seat, which they started putting into the cars right after I got my Model 3. And so, they have some other minor improvements as well. But when you're an early adopter like I was, you're kind of taking that risk. Another thing I wish I would have known is the early release of the Model Y. The Model Y was ahead of schedule. I wish I would have known that. So the Model Y came out less than 2 years after I took delivery of my Model 3. Had I known that the Model Y was going to be that close in the Model 3, I may have waited. I just did my full Model Y review, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. But in my review, I talk about how the Model Y is basically a better car for the long term if you're a family of 4. If you have a couple of kids, it's definitely a better fit for a family compared to the Model 3. It just got more room, sits up higher. So that could have been a better long-term car for me. But at the time I got my Model 3, I had no idea when the Model Y was going to come out. They've also changed the Model Y offering. So they took away recently, they said that a standard range Model Y is not going to be a thing. It's just going to be long range Model Y. So that completely changed some people's buying options as well. And then who knows what the Cybertruck's going to do? Is Cybertruck going to be released early as well? Is it going to be ahead of schedule? I hope so. We'll see. Now, the next thing I wish I would have known is something that every single person in the world wish they would have known, and that is the Tesla stock. Gosh, this is crazy because I was considering putting money into Tesla stock instead of buying my car in full. I wish I would have known how crazy high the Tesla stock would have gone. I saved up enough cash so that I could buy it in full, and I paid it off, and I briefly considered putting that money into Tesla stock because people were telling me to. They're like, just put it in Tesla stock. I was like, are you crazy? I would never do. I'm a risk averse person. I would never do something like that. Put all of my eggs in one basket, no matter what the company is. I mean, I love Tesla. I believe in them. I support them. However, it's not enough to convince me to put $50,000 into the Tesla stock. But if I would have put that money into Tesla stock instead of buying my car in full in cash, I would have made about $200,000, because back in 2018, Tesla shares were around $300 a share, and now they're above $1,500 a share. Now, of course, I would have had to wait the lows out, wait the dips out, and I would have had to stick it out even when the price doubled. So, when it hit $600, I would have had to wait it out more, and $900, $1,000, which not many people do, because some people just, once they double their money, they're cashing out. And it would have been hard for me to wait. Investing into a single stock like Tesla or anybody that's sort of risky, it takes some guts and it takes some bravery, but it also takes some knowledge. And that's where today's sponsor, Skillshare, comes into play. Skillshare is one of my favorite places to learn all kinds of valuable skill sets like investing. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of modern classes for creative and curious people just like you and me. It's a great place to explore new skills, build upon existing passions, and feed creativity. Learning isn't just about classes though, it's about community and being surrounded by other creative people. Right now, learning about finance and investing is super important for all of us due to the ever-changing economy, so I'm working my way through some of Skillshare's most helpful classes about the stock market. I just finished part 1 of a 2-part series called Investing 101, Understanding the Stock Market by Business Casual, which is also a great YouTube channel. The class helped me strengthen my basic understanding of how stocks work, so I can hopefully be more prepared for the next big stock opportunity like Tesla. If you want to join me and thousands of others at Skillshare, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership, so don't miss out, and thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now, the next thing I wish I would have known was the charging at home. So when I was first getting into Tesla and I was preparing for my delivery, I was getting information and advice from other Tesla owners, and everybody who owned a Tesla was recommending getting a NEMA 1450 outlet installed in your home. It's like they said it was, the best, and it cost me a pretty penny to do that. It was like almost $1,000 to get the electricity ran to my garage, because it was basically their opposite side, so they had to run the cable alongside my house under the yard. But I wish I would have waited until after I got my car, because I probably could have gotten by just by charging on a normal outlet. The long range Model 3 gets about 5 miles of range per hour of charge on a normal outlet. So that's about 60 miles of charge that I could recoup overnight. My daily commute is around 80 miles, so I would have been able to kind of recoup most of my daily driving miles just on a normal outlet if I charged for 12 hours each night. But I would have to charge every single night, but I would have saved, $1,000 by not getting that NEMA 1450 charger, even though it does come in handy when I need to charge pretty quickly, because the NEMA 1450 charges about 30 miles of range per hour of charge. Now, speaking of charging, let's talk about the next thing that I wish I would have known, and that's real life range. So when you're looking to buy an electric vehicle like a Tesla, they show you the estimated full range on a full battery. Well, you don't really get that full range in your normal day-to-day driving. Tesla recommends only charging up to 90% for your daily driving. This is to preserve the battery life over the long-term health of the battery. So, and sometimes, most of the time, I'll charge to just 80%. If I'm charging to just 80%, I'm only getting about 260 miles of range. And then also, highway speeds driving over 70 miles an hour, that affects your range. That uses more battery. And when you're driving interstate speeds in the winter, when it's at or below freezing, you can probably assume that you're going to lose about 20% of your estimated range. If I'm charging to just 80% in the winter for my daily driving, and I'm losing 20% of that estimated range, I'm really only getting about 200 miles of estimated range. Definitely take into consideration your weather that you're driving in. Driving in colder temperatures is going to affect your range. Driving fast is going to affect your range. The precipitation, so driving in rain or snow or heavy winds, elevation, all that comes into play and affects your battery range. So just know that you're not going to get that full range every time you drive. Next up is the Tesla owner expenses. That's what I like to call it. Before I got a Tesla, I always owned pretty cheap cars, so I really didn't have a lot of money that I spent on the car. But when you get a luxury vehicle like a Tesla, you come to find out that there are a lot of things that you can spend money on the car after you get it. So with Teslas, it's very popular for Tesla owners to get ceramic coating and then also paint protection film and get a wrap on it. So I didn't do ceramic coating, but I did the clear paint protection film that basically protects my entire end of my Model 3. And I'm glad I got that, but it was pretty expensive. It was like $1,600. So that was just another added expense because you want to protect these cars. Also, make sure you know that there is a required $1,200 delivery fee for all Teslas. And it's not baked into that purchase price when you're in the configuration design center on the Tesla website. So make sure you are keeping in mind that it's just going to be another $1,200 on top of that price. Also, some states will charge an abnormally large amount for renewing your plates for EVs. So the reason some states will charge higher to renew an electric vehicle plate is because you're not buying gas, so you're not paying that road tax. So see what your state does. Sometimes I've seen people like just hundreds of dollars just to renew their plates for their EVs. And when you get a Tesla, you have all kinds of cool accessories to get for it and you want to get for it. You got floor mats, you got console wraps, you got trunk coolers, you have all these cool things that you can buy, and it does help your experience. I will leave a link to my favorite Tesla accessories in the description below if you want to check those out. But that's just another added expense that you don't really think about. And then also, you know, EVs with the instant torque, especially Teslas, how quick they are, they eat up tires more quickly than a gasoline vehicle. So keep in mind that you may go through tires more quickly and you may need to buy more sets of tires throughout the lifetime of the car. Luckily, I was able to get about 40,000 miles on my original tires, but I know a lot of other Tesla owners, they say that they can get like 15,000 miles out of their tires before they had to replace them. Now, next is what I wish I would have known once I got the car. And the first thing I would have done when I got the car is I would have use the protectant spray on the surface area of the dash and the glove box, because if you've seen my previous video, like not too long after I got my Model 3, I kind of had it scuffed up my dash area a little bit because of the way that it's finished when it comes from the factory. As far as, well, back when I got my Model 3, it may be fixed, but it was very easy to scratch and scuff, and I wish I would have known about that because I would have used this protectant spray. I would have put that on first thing, because what that does, it gives it a nice matte finish. And then last but not least, this is probably my fault. I'm probably a horrible parker, but curb rash. You know, Tesla Model 3 curb rashes pretty easily, especially with the 18-inch wheels that I found. Like, I got my Model 3 and within like the first month, I was street parking and I curb rashed one of my wheels, and I was so angry at myself. That's just something I wish I would have known, because they do curb rash fairly easily. I never had this problem before in any of my other cars, and I guess I just really didn't even worry about it. But now with an expensive Tesla, you kind of think about these things, and I've curb rashed all 4 of my wheels. Yay! Found some touch-up paint on Amazon that I used, and it pretty much fixed it cosmetically, so you can't really tell once you put this touch-up paint on, but obviously if you get real close, you can see that it's been curb rashed. So that would have definitely helped out with a curb rash. Luckily, I plan to own this car for a long time. It's amazing. What do you think? If you own a Tesla Model 3 or any Tesla, let me know if any of these resonate with you. Let me know what you wish you would have known before getting your Tesla. I hope this helped you out. If you want to see more Tesla and technology videos, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. My name is Andy. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.